Hi guys, welcome back on board to the Crypto Cruiser. It's me, Chris, and today we're going to talk about Bitcoin, the Bitcoin chart, where it's heading next week. Are we due for a correction? Is a pullback to 72,800 possible for next week? I think, my personal opinion, that's highly likely. Of course, anything I say in this video is not a financial advice. It's for pure entertainment purposes. And before you do anything, do your diligence and make your own research. Because as I've said, everything I'm saying in this video, it is not a financial advice. Of course, we're going to talk some traditional markets, S&P 500, and let's get started, guys. Let's just start with the Bitcoin chart and how I was able to predict every single move for BTC so far. Since I launched my channel, I've been nothing but right, especially here. Since I launched my channel, the prices were around 66, 67,000, and I've told you I anticipate a huge drop in prices, start testing prices beneath 60,000, and then eventually to have a final wash off to shake off all the weak hands and have a test below 50,000 and price of around 49,000. That's exactly what we did. Then I said I anticipate a huge recovery, a bounce back, and a local top at 65,000. But how did I know all that? Because S&P 500 was already correcting, and I thought it would be healthy for the overall bull trend to have a healthy correction, and that's exactly what we had. We had an ABC regular correction, nothing more than the extraordinary 10% on the downside. And then I've said here, I anticipate a V-shaped recovery. I mean, you can turn back some of my videos, guys. Everything has been documented, and you clearly see everything is there. So we had that V-shaped recovery, and we almost got to all-time high prices. And then I said it will be healthy for the overall trend to come back. There's this previous resistance line. We had one touch point here at its previous all-time high. Again, we had another test end of July, beginning of August, and then we came back, we tested this resistance line, we turned it into support, and we had the continuation of the trend on the upside, and we start hitting all-time high prices. And then I said in the process we formed a reverse head and shoulders, which measure from the head to the bottom. That'll be prices of above the price target will be above 6,250. And I've said I'm not going to be surprised if by the end of the year or early next one we start hitting price of above 6,200, and we are already in the way of doing that. But of course, along the way we're going to have corrections. So right now we're due for a correction, for a little pullback, just the way we had here between the period of end of July and end of October of 2023. We had a massive correction over 17%, and a lot of all these big YouTubers were calling for a bear and calling for a bear market. But of course, I didn't have my channel then, but I knew that the structure looked bullish, setting up higher highs and higher lows. And of course, for me, that was a very successful trade. Because I mean, nothing has been invalidated. We're still in a bull trend, so there was no reason to panic. But I just want to tell you something, guys. So from the period of 5th of August, since pretty much I launched my channel, I've been nothing but right, and we had the prices almost at 5,000, at $5,000, 5,000, and S&P 500 right now is above 6,000. So in the period of such a short time period, we had such a massive blow off top, pretty much. And in my personal opinion, we're due for a correction. Maybe we're just gonna test these prices at prices of around 5,800, even though this reverse head and shoulders pattern are telling us that we're gonna go to 6,250 and above. In just in the short term, it's possible to have a little dip, a little correction, a little pullback to prices and test these prices of around 5,800, or we can just smash through it and we're just gonna go through it. Let's see how it's gonna play out, but let's get back to the Bitcoin chart and how I was able to predict every single move. So from 65,000 here, I've told you this is gonna be the local top at 23rd of August, and between that period till 6th of September, I posted over 20 warning videos telling you that we're going to the downside from 65,000 to 52,000. And that's exactly what we did. In the process, I was telling you exactly on a daily basis how it's going to play out. And since once we hit the $52,000 price target, I turned bullish on the short term as well, and I've been nothing but right. And we had the continuation of the trend on the upside. We took this bear trap at 57,000, start hitting all-time highs. And here, I mean, In the process, we actually formed a huge triangle pattern, that symmetrical triangle pattern, that we broke out on the 18th of September. We had one test on 3rd of October, and here on 10th of October, when the price of Bitcoin was around 58,000, I said the pullback is finished. Now we're heading for a massive upside momentum and start testing price of around 70,000. That's exactly what we did. And then I've said it will be healthy for the overall trend to actually from 70,000 to come back to these previous local tops at 65,000 and 66,500. We turned them into support. In the process, we formed a W formation, which is a bullish signal. A snap on the upside, start testing price of above 73,000. And that's exactly what we did, almost all-time high. Then I said, we're due for a pullback, and that's what we had at 69,000. We actually overextended. We went to 67,000, and then again, I've said we're going to 77,000, and that's exactly where we are here right now. So of course, there's going to be two case scenario. I mean, so far I've been giving you only one case because I mean I was almost certain how it's going to play out. Of course, I'm dealing with theory of probabilities. What has a bigger chance percentage-wise of happening, and that's why I was giving you here the bearish momentum, and over here the bullish momentum, and right here I've told you we're going to have a correction, and then after that I've told you that we're going to have a continuation of the trend and start hitting all-time high prices and potentially going to 77,000. That's exactly how it played out. So now we are into this huge yearly resistance line that, I mean, we failed to break out from April 2021. We couldn't break in November of 2021. We couldn't break its previous all-time high in March of 2024, and now we're just hesitant. And let's see how it's going to play out. My personal opinion, I mean, right now, because we are standing into these prices, I give 50-50% percentage that I mean, any of those scenarios that I'm going to explain to you, it can potentially play out. So let's just start with the correction. So for me, my personal opinion, I think we're due for a correction. It's important where exactly going to end this correction. So in my personal opinion, next week potentially we can go and start testing prices below 73,000, 72,800. If we hold it, and then we're gonna go to prices again to 76,000, and then we're just gonna have consolidation between the price of let's say 71 and 76,000. We just consolidate between these prices, and then we're gonna have a huge snap on the upside by 20th of November. Start testing price of above 80,000. I mean, that's definitely in the cards. That's definitely in the charts. Or the other scenario is to actually pull back. So I'm anticipating to have a pullback next week to prices of around 72,000, 72,800. We have a pullback, let's say to 72,000, and then we're going to have a little bit of an upside momentum to 74 or 75,000, and then we drop further down to price of around 70, 69,000. Then we're going to have another upside momentum to 71, 72, and then drop again to 66, 65,000. Then of course my initial base case scenario is going to play out. My initial prediction is going to play out, that we're due for correction from 77,000, that potentially we can end up by the end of this month, early next one, prices below 60,000, a price of around 59,500. Perhaps we're going to form a W formation, and then we're going to have the continuation of the trend on the upside and start hitting all-time high prices of above 80,000 still by the end of this year or early next one. So regardless, in my personal opinion, either we're going to have the correction, but it's not going to be a bear market. And once we hitting prices below 60,000, if that case scenario plays out, and at price of around 59,500, and everyone turns bearish and their own mother, then we turn bullish and we start long in the markets again. So far, I think again, I anticipate next week to have a pullback to price of around 72,000, and then we'll see if this level is gonna hold. We're gonna have a little bit of bullish momentum at 74, 75, and if we go and we have the continuation of the trend and start hitting prices of above 77, then of course, I don't think we're gonna have a huge correction, and I think we're just gonna consolidate for a few weeks, for 10 2 weeks between these prices, as I've mentioned, and then we're gonna have a huge snap on the upside and break out this huge yearly resistance and start testing prices of above 80,000, and this correction will be invalidated. But I still stand on my case scenario that potentially, if we drop down to 72,000 and we won't be able to take out this 74 and we hit another lower low to price of around 69,000, then I think potentially we can pull back to prices below 60,000, and it'll be healthy for the overall trend, and we're still going to be in a bull market, and potentially we can still end up with all-time high prices by the end of this year. Yeah, just be level-headed, guys. Be open-minded. Don't be 100% certain in one case scenario, because if you want to be a sophisticated trader, you have to look at all sides. Of course, anything I've said in this video is not the financial advice. It's for pure entertainment purposes. And before you do anything, do your diligence and make your own research. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube, please do it. It's for absolutely free. You'll be much appreciated. Thank you all, guys, for the support, for all the lovely comments. I really appreciate it. And if you want to subscribe to my Patreon and show that you really support my work and get my crypto guidebook or my other book, 70 pages filled with very useful information about chart analysis, the art of chart analysis, that would be much appreciated as well. And of course, once you subscribe to my Patreon, you get an exclusive content with the most underappreciated, undervalued coins with 50, 60, or some of them even 100x potential. Of course, that's not a financial advice. Once again, guys, thank you all for the support, and we'll see each other later on. Goodbye.